captured here. 1v1 Green Tooth Gorge, blue side. We have Little Horus as a Chaos Lord, durable and destructive commander, walks through cover, cannot be suppressed, can't be knocked back easily either. Good damage and disruption. Red side, Panzer plays a Warp Spider Exarch, teleporting commander, fights range to start off, good harassing and capping early on, lots of nasty tricks late game, fantastic mobility as you'd expect. Green Tooth Gorge then, one of the best 1v1 maps I think. East to west VPs, west natural for Little Horus, east natural for Panzer. If you're wondering what Little Horus refers to, it's Horus Aximand, who was a captain of the Lunar Wolves pre-heresy. That was his nickname because he looked a lot like Horus apparently. Warp Spider Exarch coming all the way over to this west side to harass these heretics, which is what he's really good at early on, especially teleporting into buildings and taking out models. Just forces them off. Might be able to take this western VP. Guardians taking the east. Little Horus going for Chaos Space Marines, heavy ranged infantry, decent in melee too. Panzer goes for some Howling Banshees. Light melee unit with power weapons. Will we see Aspiring Champion Heretics in response? Don't think he's seen those Banshees yet. 486 500 early on. Warp Spider Exarch, mobility allowing to take a double I think. Chaos Lord might be going for this central. Will we see the combi flamer? No sign of it yet, does not have the power. 30 power to get that thing. CSM on capping duty, forcing off Guardians. Guardians can't really outshoot Marines, Loyalist or Chaos varieties. Warp Spider Exarch does get a model loss on those heretics. Now in combat with the Chaos Lord, not where he wants to be. Teleports away, and Guardians can now put some damage on this Chaos Lord. The Chaos Lord is defined as having medium size, much like the Hive Tyrant and the War Boss, so you do get pretty decent accuracy versus them. Rangers on the field for Panzer. Sniper infantry will take out a heretic with each shot pretty easily. Can they get the Warp Spider Exarch down here? Teleports out, just about gets away. There is constant bleed. Khorne worship, well played by Horus, boosting the speed of the otherwise rather slow Chaos Lord. And I do see the combi flamer up already, gives him the flamer icon above his indicator as you can see. And Banshee's catching him in retreat here. Banshee's so dangerous on the retreat given their damage and speed. And I think they're going to finish this guy off. No, that was a special attack, but they still do. And now getting amongst his CSM. Great play for Panzer. Little Horus just a bit overextended there. One generator up for Panzer and a node. We have 2 gens up for Little Horus. But no node here, can be decapped by the Banshees, and I think it's going to be. Chaos Lord repurchased. Costs you 250 requisition to repurchase a commander if you wait. The price goes down, starting high depending on their level, but he's level 1, so probably started about 300 or so. Double rangers for Panzer. Usually work pretty well in pairs. It's not overly easy to use these guys in combat though. You've always got to watch their positioning, got to use kinetic shot. Have to be very wary of melee getting in range, and you have to take into account their setup and tear up times. Here we see him running the hell away. 381 500 Warp Spider Exarch also in retreat. Noise Marines on the field for Little Horus will do a fantastic job countering the Guardians and also the Rangers if they can get into range. It might be tricky though, since you can chain kinetic shot and keep them away. Chaos Lord up against Banshees, wants to get a kill the week off I think. Noise Marines working on those generators. Here come Aspiring Champion Heretics. Banshee's in a bit of trouble here. Chaos Lord low, seems to have missed his kill the week largely. Now getting into range of these Rangers. Very overextended here. Can the Rangers finishing them off in retreat? Heretics get in and suppress that squad and probably saved him. Here comes the Warp Spider Exarch though, trying to force melee and gets him down in range, leveling the Warp Spider Exarch to 2. Noise Marines still working on a gen farm and they take the whole thing down. They have flamer damage, so fantastic damage versus generators, especially since all 3 members get that noise blaster weapon or whatever it's called. Noise cannon, I'm not sure. CSM on capping duty. We have triple gens here for Panzer. 328, 500. Panzer yet to lose a VP off the counter. CSM losing a model to those rangers and need to be very careful here. Banshees in retreat path, can they get them? Easily can. But they don't lose a model. Only 3 Banshees alive. Chaos Lord repurchased again. Combi Flamer doing so much damage as he approaches on retreat. I would have just stayed in range stance and shot those Guardians up. Might have got a model lost there. Rangers down to 2 models. Doesn't really affect their ability to snipe though, being down to 2 models, as long as you really keep an eye on them. Khorne Worship boosting the speed of these Noise Marines and this Chaos Lord. Is he going to cap mid? Might be a triple here for Panzer. Nope, he's ignoring the VPs. 284, 500. Wants to take out some more power. Here come Howling Banshees though. Needs to be very careful. Noise Marines can use Cacophony, of course. There's Kinetic Shot. There is Cacophony, disabling the Noise Marines but knocking down all nearby infantry, and then they are able to retreat and get away with all 3 models. Chaos Lord and these Heretics hugely outnumbered. We have Guardians, the Warp Spider Exarch and the Banshees going in on these Heretics. Heretics were already very low and are forced to retreat. Ordinarily, aspiring champion Heretics would be very, very bad news for Banshees, but they were outnumbered there. Guardians now repairing the generator, which a lot of players forget or don't have the time to do. It does help you protect your power though. Panzer already tier 2 and has Warp Spiders on the way. Little Horus just hit tier 2. What's he going to go for? I would say Bloodletters. I think a Blood Crusher would be in huge amounts of trouble with Banshees and Warp Spiders and the Warp Spider Exarch, which could get those power blades. We have a triple cap here, 195, 500. Howling Banshees forcing off these CSM, which haven't done much. Basically been used to cap so far. There's Cacophony again on the Warp Spider Exarch this time. Noise Marines have been used to bash power pretty much exclusively. Where are those Rangers? They are hanging around this power. Guardians have finished repairing. Panzer hasn't noticed. Busy microing elsewhere. Chaos Lord forces off Banshees. They have their Exarch and they just leveled to level 2. Noise Marines must have died, yep. Units will still level as long as they got a hit on something that dies later. Heretics hugely outnumbered again. Panzer able to really use his numbers to an advantage here, and he has gone for a Blood Crusher. It's a huge risk, I think. A demon with vehicle armor, pretty quick, as it's a demon, benefits greatly from worship, especially Khorne worship, which would also boost its speed. Here is the charge, and all of this stuff is fleeing. Warp Spiders could get their Haywire Grenade to slow it down. We could see Power Blades from the Warp Spider Exarch, who gets taken down. I'm just about to say he can get a melee heavy weapon. And Banshees, of course, have the Exarch with her spear, which is melee heavy. 9,500. Can Little Horus hang in here? He has the 2-to-1, perhaps a triple. Chaos Lord still with his Combi Flamer level 2. Warp Spider Exarch also level 2. Banshees working on the Blood Crusher. Decent damage versus all targets for this thing. Basically a Bloodletter riding a Juggernaut. Heretics decapping mid. Can Little Horus get a triple? Here come a bunch of Eldar stuff, double Rangers, Warp Spiders and Banshees. Warp Spiders huge damage versus infantry, can also teleport. and have that haywire grenade to try and deal with vehicles, of course. I believe their Exarch also gets power blades when you get their aspects. Yes, power blades, which I assume are melee heavy. Bloodcrusher backs off. Little Horus has managed that thing pretty well. Meanwhile, this single noise marine is working on his generators. 90-462. Panzer's taking his natural back thanks to these guardians, which now have their warlock leader. Makes them a bit more durable. Also gives them emboldened, boosting their damage, and I think their damage resistance. Also makes them a bit more effective in melee since he can jump around and is pretty decent at melee by himself. Bloodletter's now on the way for Little Horus. Noise Marines perish. Autarch on the field for Panzer. Did not see her fall down. Might have finished off the Noise Marines. Sub-commander for Eldar, very quick on her feet, can also jump over cover. Screw knocking it down, just jump over it. Fight's managed to start off with a power sword. As you can see, she's buffing all of this infantry around her, giving them a small damage resistance. She's a really great unit. Good disruption as well. Chaos Lord wants to shoot up stuff with his combi flamer. Panzer's done a pretty decent job negating that combi flamer, tying him up quickly with banshees and the like. Ranger's getting shots in. Here comes the Bloodcrusher. Haywire grenade goes down on him, and now he's getting chopped up by banshees. Here we see blood sacrifice. Bloodletters spawned out of those heretics, and we also have a full Bloodletter squad on the field. Good play by Little Horus, forcing off all of that Eldar. Can't quite finish off those Warp Spiders, I don't think. No. But can cap mid with these very understrength heretics. 2 models remaining. CSM have their aspiring champion. They also have Eternal War, giving them a flat 20% damage buff. Warp Spider Exarch capping Horus is natural though. Are these guys going to retreat? Nope, they are going to worship this Bloodcrusher to heal it up. Little Horus keeping this thing alive. Very good play. Autarch wants to try and force this Chaos Lord to run away. He has decapped. Uses Kill of the Week. Should have waited for the Banshees to engage. Didn't want to risk it, I suppose. Autarch jumps in, which gives a small heal, but the Chaos Lord goes down. That's the 3rd time I've seen him go down. Chaos Dreadnought on the way. Warp Spider Exarch being very annoying and decapping this fully matured rec point. Requisition points mature over time to give you more requisition per minute, which is why it's so annoying to get them decapped. 79-427, a double for Little Horus, and here comes another run at this Bloodcrusher. Bloodcrusher spotting the danger and moves off. Here we see the Chaos Dreadnought, Walker vehicle for Chaos, starts off with an auto cannon, decent damage versus all targets and a small AoE, and those Banshees don't like it one bit. The Chaos Dreadnoughts also get this weird little gun at the front, which seems to do decent damage, and Warp Spider Exarch goes down. All of the Chaos Dreadnought variants have that little gun at the front. $79,397. The Chaos Dreadnought, of course, can get marks. No sign of any of them yet. I think keeping the autocannon is a pretty decent choice right now. Perhaps mark off Khorne. Chaos Lord again repurchased. Bloodletter teleporting into the Autarch. Good damage versus all targets for these guys. You can see the hammer icon. They are also demons, so they benefit greatly from worship. Heretics should be decapping, I think. They are up to 6 models. Chaos Lord uses Kill the Weak and flees. Perhaps should be looking into getting Armor of the Inferno. Bloodletters phase out just to make sure they can get away. 46,397. Here comes the mark of Khorne. Chaos Dreadnought turning this thing into a beastly melee walker. Those 2 very nasty looking close combat claws, and here is Blood Rage. boosting its damage and durability and speed, but you lose control of the Dreadnought. Takes out the Autarch in 2 swings. Now going after these Banshees, and this is bad news. All walkers, of course, doing splash melee damage. That Blood Crusher needs to be very careful. Dreadnought turns on it and takes it out. No, special attack misses. Blood Crusher has 2 hit points. Can he get this thing away? Needs to charge. And Blood Rage wears off just at the right time. So lucky, little Horus. I can't believe that Blood Crusher survived. Level 2 now, this thing. And as it's a demon, it is regenerating health very slowly. 44,388. Guardians decapping stuff. But little Horus has a double hit. Has both the naturals. He's put a lot of pressure on these generators, little Horus. Mark of Khorne Dreadnought really swinging the engagement there. Guardians more decapping. CSM shooting up this Warp Spider Exarch who we've lost the indicator for. He has his enhanced warp generator, basically makes him better at teleporting. 44,352. Chaos Lord takes mid. It's going to be a 2-to-1, I think. CSM retreating. You have double Warp Spiders now for Panzer, so huge range firepower, especially with those double ranges. Banshees getting in there to tie things up. You're getting way too close to this Dreadnought though. There goes the Haywire Grenade. He is blood raged, but now it cannot move. Bloodletters hugely outnumbered and phase out to simply walk away. Here comes the Blood Crusher now, back up to full health. Dreadnought now back in the action, still blood rage up. Banshee's getting disintegrated under this guy. And again, little Horus forcing off the Eldar. They really need something durable in there. Everything is pretty squishy. So this Dreadnought and this Blood Crusher are doing very, very well. Dreadnought is already leveled, in fact, and we see a Khorne shrine going up from these heretics. We'll spit out 2 bloodletters periodically. We'll do it more if you worship the shrine. More frequently, that is. Warp Spider Exarch using his mobility to get to the west side and decap little Horus's natural. This is going to be very annoying for little Horus to deal with as we come into the final phase of the game. Warp Spider Exarch gives you such a huge advantage in capping power. Bloodletters, sorry, on capping duty there. Warp Spider Exarch forced to retreat down to 50 hit points. Chaos Lord trying to cap. The CSM underestimating the range firepower of these Guardians and need to flee. Rangers are only level 2 despite being in the game since tier 1. Havocs on the field for little Horus. Pretty good choice, I think. Rangers will counter them just by virtue of range, but will keep those Banshees under control and Warp Spiders if they get too close. 44,308, a 2-to-1 for little Horus. Guardians will decap this side, will they? They can try, but here comes a Blood Crusher and Guardians can't do anything against that huge engagement in the middle. Lots of Eldar bloodletters moving in. Oh, they were summoned bloodletters from the shrine. Havocs controlling all of this infantry. Rangers now, kinetic shot disrupts them. Blood Crusher chases those Guardians into the building. 44,289. Can little Horus pull this off? We have a Bright Lance on the field. Long overdue from Panzer. Will help him greatly take out these 2 vehicles. Huge anti-vehicle DPS from that thing. Very nice special attack from the Warp Spider Exarch. Should have gone for power blades, I think. Now in melee combat with those CSM. Rangers moving forward. Ouch! And wiping out 2 members of these Havocs. Little Horus needs to be a bit more aggressive here in the middle. Bloodletters tie up that Bright Lance and send in the vehicles, I think. 44,272. Chaos Lord taking out Guardians. That combi flame is so powerful in range and does force him off. He can cap the west surely. Here comes Panzer sending all of his stuff to his natural on the east. No, neither player wanting to fully engage here. Tier 3 for both players. Panzer will get there first. And he's not too far off getting an avatar or something else nasty. Chaos Lord capping the west for a 2-1. There we go. Bright Lance moving up a bit. Huge range this thing has, as you can see. And he's gone for a fire prison Panzer. Thought he was going to get a D cannon. Probably doesn't want another setup team being exposed to these walkers. Here comes the Dreadnought. Rangers get away. They did decap though, so now it's a 1-1. Bright Lance getting shots off on the Dreadnought, and look at the damage it's doing. Bloodletters teleporting in. Banshees are there though. Need to be very, very careful. Need to phase out now. Really need to phase out. There is the phase out. Heretics pushing, but taking huge losses, and he's going to lose that Heretic squad. Now it's up to the Blood Crusher and the Dreadnought to force this stuff off, and they should be able to, I think. Here is the Fire Prism though. Ouch, that's its focus shot doing serious damage to this Dreadnought. Also has a spread shot, you can freely choose between them. CSM, as they have been for most of the game, on capping duty. Now forcing melee on the Warp Spider Exarch. Blood Crusher going after this Fire Prism, which got a bit too close there. This Dreadnought's going to go down, I think. Oh, the Haywire Grenades off cooldown. There's one, and there is Blood Rage, which kept it alive. Blood Crusher also might go down. This might be a huge mistake from Little Horus. There is Imperial Abyss. Can he take out the Fire Prism with it? He can. But both of those vehicles go down. Blood Crusher won't survive. Wow, can Little Horus recover? He almost has enough for a great unclean one. Will we see it? Panzer getting away with no squad. Oh, he did lose a Warp Spider squad. Where is the Exarch? He's coming out of base. Chaos Lord on decapping duty. Huge amounts of pressure on this power. And look at the map control for Little Horus. He has a triple 44-151. Havocs in melee with the Warp Spider Exarch. They haven't been able to be very effective with Rangers countering them, and now the Warp Spider Exarch. Bloodletters teleporting in at the end there. Bright Lance on capping duty. Great Unclean One is on the way for Little Horus. This is make or break time. Gonna take another 30 seconds or so just to get out, and he's gonna have, he might lose a triple here to Panzer, in fact, eventually. Autarch on the building, wipes out those CSM. That's a huge loss for Little Horus. Autarch entry grenades, such a huge garrison counter, and very, very difficult to avoid since it takes a little while to get out of a garrison. 44-91. Heretics on the way for Little Horus. A good choice to support his Bloodletters and his big fella. Here he is, the Great Unclean One. Super unit for Chaos, hugely effective in melee combat. Some nasty abilities and very, very tough, but you need to support him. Can he use it to line break against all of this Eldar stuff? It is super heavy infantry, so all of this stuff will damage it, especially those Howling Banshees in melee with their power weapons. They don't have their Exarch anymore for some reason. They are level 3 though. He spotted the Great Unclean One and flees. Autarch. This Chaos Lord needs to be very careful. There's Kill the Weak. He needs to run now, and does. Great Unclean One coming after all this stuff where we see Cloud of Flies on retreat. No. Bloodletters doing a pretty good job forcing that stuff off. Little Horus now needs to cap. Inspiring Champion Heretics coming in. Up against the Autarch. A bit too many for her to take on by herself, especially without her shield, and she needs to leap away. Heretics are now capped mid. 32-91. Little Horus will get a 2-1 hit. Havoc survive to cover the west. Bloodletters decapping power again. And then phase out. Heretics very strangely positioned for some reason, but they do cap the mid and now need to run. Because here come Banshee's fully upgraded. Now the Great Unclean One is all by himself. There's a haywire grenade. Slowing him down, and he's not the quickest. Quite good synergy with Khorne worship, so because it boosts his speed. 32, 78, a 2-to-1. Cloud of Flyers, come on, use an ability. I haven't seen him use a single ability. There we go. He's down to half health, and I think Great Unclean One's going to go down here. Here comes the Curse Lord to help out. That Bright Light's doing so much damage. Here is his vomit. Don't think it hit anything. I did hit a ranger, I think. Great Unclean One though will go down surely in melee combat with an autarch. Banshee's retreating in the end. Bright Lance, so much damage, will take him out. Chaos Lord goes down. There's the Great Unclean One going down. Will explode on death, healing allies and damaging enemies, but Panzer quite rightly keeping his distance. I've seen him take out a full Katashan squad with his death explosion. It does a lot of damage. Warp Spider's called in. That's a global ability of the Warp Spider Exarch. Bloodletter's used to push it, having to phase out. Double Bloodletters for Little Horus, and he's taking the mid for a 2-to-1, 32-73. Panzer's got to push it. Bloodletters are not going to make it out. Little Horus just trying to hold these forces up, I think, at this point. Shrine going up. Banshee's bashing it down, though. And the Warp Spider Exarch comes to cap. Heretics forced to retreat. Little Horus pretty much done for, I think, at this point. Panzer has done a fantastic job preserving his units. Little Horus losing those two vehicles was huge. Gambled. Pushed them far in, trying to get lots of losses, but it didn't really work out. Even with that Imperial Beast backing him up. 32-45. Warp Spider's teleporting in behind his Havocs, and he might lose his squad if he forces melee. But does not. Bloodletters chased off by Howling Banshees. 25-43, it's a 2-to-1 for Panzer. Curse Lord back up again, now level 6. And took out the Warp Spider Exarch with his Combi Flamer. Heretics come to decap. Can he pull this off? 17-43. He's going to the east side. Might get a triple here. Panzer forced off from the west side. What happened? I have no idea. He might have just been retreating to regroup. If he did, that was a huge mistake, I think. 13-43. Curse Lord really needs to get a Dark Halo or something, so he can cap a bit better. He has a lot of resources. Doesn't quite have enough requisition to get something. There's another Imperial Beast. Curse Lord goes down though, but it looks like he is going to keep these guys off the cap. Howling Banshee's taken out by this thing. Autarch, unperturbed, goes back to cap again. She's getting flung around by the chains. Huge engagement in the middle. Stuff exploding. That was Heretics. Here come Bloodletters, but there's so much stuff here. They need to phase out immediately. And they go down. Didn't have the energy to phase out after teleporting. And there's the victory for Little Horus. It is. He wins it. Unbelievable. Panzer just not concentrating on VPs. Had huge unit superiority. I thought Little Horus was done for when he lost those two vehicles. But hangs in there and outcaps Panzer at the end. Amazing. Unbelievable. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.